17 this year. And hello, and we are back. Okay, a little technical difficulties there. This one actually took a deep dive to get into it, but we figured it out, and we are back. So, welcome. This is Uptown Tonight, and my name, I'm the host, I guess, is Wade. Some people call me the Wiz, Stahlbacher, or Stallenfacher to some of you guys out there. And tonight we'll be talking with Mr. Joe Rudd from the Front Fenders. I've been overexcited about talking with this guy, at least about what he's been doing, what his past has all been about, and there's just a ton of things that I've seen that he's done that I just need to know about. But on top of that, obviously, the only reason why we do this podcast is because I believe that a rising tide raises all ships. And I believe that we just need to get back out there and really start pushing this entertainment scene again, the Fargo-Moorhead area, getting everyone back out, everyone watching and seeing like live performances of all types. If it is dance, if it's music, if it's, I don't care, musicians, I already said that. Magicians, that's what I was going for. Or things in that sort of nature. And also, yesterday, I was watching a movie of the Blade Runner. It was the first time I actually watched it because I'm a geek and I love my laser discs. So I have to show what these actually are to the younger folk. It's a big DVD, basically, except they stopped making them in the 90s. And there's a movie on there. And if you get that reference, and if you say it in the live chat before we end here, I will give you a pair of sticks for that. Had to put that in. But in Blade Runner at the end, basically, when they're about to take out the bad guys, which were what did they call them again? 1 second. Yeah, the replicants, that's it. Because I've only seen it once, guys. Just give me a chance here. But the replicants, they're basically like humanoids. They're genetically built and everything else for our use, or for the humans' use. But then they turn on the humans or something, so they have to take them out with these Blade Runners, these certain people. But at the very end, the replicant was talking before he actually perished. Yeah, I know, sorry. And he was saying something about the memories that he's going to be taking with him as soon as he dies, of stuff that no one's ever seen before, or will ever see again, and it'll just fade away like a tear in the rain. And that really caught me. And that's kind of like what we're trying to do here with the podcast as well, is pick up all these old memories and all the history and the things that happened in the past, which I believe is hugely. It's worth so much. So that's what's great here to talk with Mr. Joe Rudd of the Front Fenders. Joe, how are you doing today?
Doing fine.
Doing fine.
Speaking of old. Yeah,
old lad. I would never say that about you ever, but I do know you have some experience. So a couple weeks ago, the Front Fenders had their 25th anniversary. Now, to put that in perspective, we were asking our new vocalist how old he was, and literally, I think he was 3 years old when you guys first came out. So,
our bass player was born the week we started.
Oh, that is brilliant! Yeah. Brilliant. And what's the name of your bass player then?
Cameron Wheeler.
Cameron.
It's John Wheeler, the weatherman's son.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah. So Cameron just been posted out here. Yeah. Nice. So So, where did you come from? Why are you in Fargo? Are you just still in Fargo? Or?
Yeah, just my family grew up here.
Okay, so you were born and raised in Fargo, North Dakota?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So what got you into music in the first place?
My grandparents actually bought me a guitar when I was about 7. It was Christmas. And I think they just figured out, they didn't know what I was going to do with my life even at 7. I think that was probably... he's not going to be in sports. He's probably, whatever. Got me a guitar. Started playing it the next year. Taking lessons. I hated it at first, but then it just kind of got into it. I was a Catholic school kid, so
okay.
They needed guitar for a lot of different things, and I was, there I was. So it was just kind of that's what got me into it, I guess.
Okay, so it was a decent guitar. I know my parents got me a guitar when I was like 5 or 6.
No,
and
it was terrible.
Junk.
No, it was awful. The first one I actually got it back when I was probably starting college. For some reason, somebody gave it back to us, and I tried to play it, and I thought, how on earth? did I ever do this?
Maybe that's why you
Yeah.
hated it.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
So you remember who you were taking lessons from at first?
Jay Rand, it was called. His actual name was Jerry Rhodes. Real nice guy. Super nice guy. He lives in Las Vegas now, I think, the last time I heard. But,
great.
but this is a long time ago. This is like the early 70s.
Still.
Yeah.
Still, it's just nice to know that those
Yeah.
people are out there and they're still around. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That is awesome. So you started playing guitar when you were around 8 years old, and then it was into the Catholic high school or Catholic schools.
Yep.
Were you playing it for school at points? Or?
Yeah, it started at third grade was about the first time I did something in kind of a, one of these programs for the kids. You do your program for your parents, and did that, and somehow got into classical guitar after that for fourth grade. In fifth grade, I just remember we went out to West Acres, which had a Schmidt Music at the time.
Oh,
and
that was there for a while.
my
yeah.
dad and I were out there doing God knows what, shopping, I don't know. But went into Schmidt Music, and I tried an electric guitar for the first time. And that was in fifth grade, and I knew right then that, okay, this is what I like this.
And there was the love
Yeah.
interest.
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you remember what kind of guitar it
Pretty
was?
much ruined my life after that. It was something terrible, probably a Harmony through a terrible amp.
Oh.
And, it just was what it was. It's what you could get. It was fine.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
bet it was still
Just
fun.
you're glad to have one at all. It's not. You don't care if it's good.
Oh, exactly. So I was going to ask you about this Hondo that I found at a garage sale a couple of years ago. I finally got it back from somebody. And it was a Flying V Hondo.
Yep.
And I was like, no one knows about them anymore. But basically, I was like the would be a Chinese ripoff of a guitar these days. This
No,
is
when we
back in
started,
the 80s.
that's what people had in the
Yeah.
early '80s. You had Hondos.
The Hondos.
Yeah. Yeah, my dad actually, I think, I can't remember exactly how it happened. I needed a guitar anyway, and I tried out for stage band at Shanley High School. And I should have gotten it, honestly, but I was like a sophomore, and the senior got it. It was one of those deals. It was no big deal. But I wanted the guitar. I didn't really care about not getting into the thing, but they had a Fender Mustang guitar at the time. And so finally my dad took me to Marguerite's. I kind of whined a little bit. Geez, I didn't get in. I don't have a guitar now. And took me out to Marguerite's. This would have been 1981. And I had a choice of everything hanging on the wall in 1981. All these classic
Really?
Stratocasters and Gibsons. And I came home with a Peavey,
Of course. What
You
color was it?
black. Yeah.
Classic PV.
It was, yeah. Anyway, but whoops. Should have picked something else, but there's tons of gear things. But yeah, wrong thing.
So cool. So when was the first time you performed past third grade for anything besides stage band and all
Yeah,
that?
stage band. You did stage band, did high school things.
And do you know why they called it stage band at that time?
Never even thought about it. No.
Okay, they had to change it to stage band because in the 40s and 50s, when they started coming out with these jazz bands in the schools, people still thought it was satanic, and they were scared to have their kids being into that devil music. So they had to dress it up to make it look like it was something else. So they called it the stage band instead of a jazz band.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, I thought that was
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it is. But it was so. Got through high school, played a lot in high school. Not professionally or anything, but did play a lot. Got to Morehead State. Freshman year didn't do much of anything. Sophomore year was the first time. Good friend of mine, Roger Nichols, who's our drummer in the Front Fenders right now, he got into a country band and asked if I wanted to join. And this is, by the way, this is 1985. So I had no clue. What country? Country was hee-haw to me.
Okay.
Which was, okay to watch, but, it just...
How old were you at the time?
18, 19.
Oh, okay.
So I just had no interest in country music whatsoever at the time. But, hey, you can play in this band, you can make money. Turns out to be Rick Adams from the Roosters.
Oh, okay.
Or Rick Adams, the solo performer, as is now. But it was him and some of his classmates that started it. And we got in there for 2 years, and it was actually pretty successful. I was working at a 7-Eleven when I got into that thing, and I was making $3.40 an hour.
Nice.
So all of a sudden you can make $300 a week playing. And so at that point it was, that was a no-brainer. it was a lot of money. I got really fat really fast because
Ah.
I was starving. I weighed about 130 pounds when we got into that band. After the first half a year, I was 190, 200.
Feeding
First thing I
yourself
did, yeah.
well.
First thing I did. But
That's not the first thing I would have thought that you'd spend all your money on, but
No, it was. We were hungry. I mean, it's literally. But after that lasted about 2 years. It was really fun. But like I said, we were really lousy country musicians. I mean, Roger and I were. The rest of them were good, actually. But Roger and I were just lousy. And if you finally got fired, we just kept putting our stuff in the trailer, and they kept taking it out of the trailer. No, it's a true story. This is about 3 a.m. at a place called Club Dallas back in 1985. And so there we were with our equipment in the parking lot, me and the drummer. The rest of them had already left. And
they just dumped you off and left you?
Well, we had cars there. I mean, but we had to, we were just kind of sitting there with our drums and my guitar and amp and whatever, and we were throwing it in our cars, whatever. But we were just standing there, and instead of quitting, we literally that night just decided, who are we going to call? Let's do something different. And
that's the greatest attitude there is, right?
Yeah.
There.
So I think within the next 2 weeks, we'd found a couple of guys. A couple of them are still in the Front Fenders now. I mean, or at least one of them is, or have been. And so we kind of noticed during this whole country band thing that what was really getting people interested was more the oldies, the 50s and 60s at the time. Remember, this is 1985.
Gotcha.
It's kind of big, and the nostalgia thing was pretty big. And we noticed that everybody seemed to be dancing to Pretty Woman a lot more than they were dancing to George Strait when we were playing. So we kept a little bit of country, but mostly went oldies, and kind of started adding 80s stuff from our high school years in there too. And that took off right away. I mean, we knew within 3 weeks we made the right decision there. We had started, had jobs already lined up, I guess, or a few of them.
Very nice.
So it went
just
really,
people knew who you were, or just
yeah, I guess we knew certain people. We knew some bars. Rick's Bar was actually one of the first places to have us, and Rick's at that time was all country. I mean, that's why the boot up there. I mean,
exactly.
If you notice, there's that big boot up there, and we came in there and we started playing, What I Like About You and Jesse's Girl or whatever we were doing. We had a little bit of country in, but they pretty much told us immediately, stop playing the country and just do the rock and roll.
Just the rock.
And then we're kind of a transition then, I guess. If you look at the Runaway Band, which was Sweetwater was the country band I was in. The Runaways.
Yeah, I was about to ask what the names were. Okay.
Yeah, Sweetwater was the country band. The Runaways, nothing to do with Joan Jett or that stuff, but we didn't know. I didn't know there was some girl chick band out there from the 80s called the Runaways anyway. But we did the Runaways, and that went really well for about 10 years. We were doing that, and it was a lot of fun. We did a lot of casinos. We're really busy. Probably maybe the busiest we've ever been, I think, in terms of number of dates played.
Okay.
And sometimes it was just we'd play for anything practically, or we'd do anything. But that was really busy. Kind of went from that band to the Front Fenders eventually.
So that one just kind of morphed into the Front Fenders?
It was kind of a slow process.
I saw the eye roll here,
Yeah,
so there's the story behind this.
Yeah, there was kind of a slow process. I started dating a girl, and she was real talented. Jennifer Onstead was her name. And
there's always a girl.
Yeah, there is. Anyway, we started dating, and we'd go out to hear karaoke because she wasn't in she was in a band with her brother, but they barely ever played, and she liked to sing. So I said, what are we going to do with her? And she'd come up and sing with us a little bit, but I'd take her out to karaoke. And so the only people I know that did karaoke were these two guys named Jake and Sever. And they were crazy. Just these off-the-charts crazy two guys doing karaoke. Karaoke people hated them.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. 'Cause they would just joke all night. They'd make fun of the people singing. They'd make fun of themselves. They'd make fun of everything. And I just sat there going, these guys should be fronting a band. Not bringing a bunch of people up, Wade Stahlberger, you're next on the list, to
Jesse's
sing.
Girl.
Yeah, yeah, big deal. And so they were making fun of themselves, the whole thing, and I just said, guys, why don't you front the band? We'll just try it. Take our Runaways band, You guys come out, be in front of us. And the reaction from my band wasn't totally positive and understandable at the time, because they're going, well, we don't really know these guys really that well. This just seems like kind of a strange idea. And I just, at that point, I'm going to do this.
Okay.
I got to do this. So those guys, we stopped. We went to New Year's Eve as the Runaways.
Okay.
No hard feelings there. That was just a blast the whole way through. But we stopped there, and then we did our last Runaways job New Year's Eve, 1995. And by the second week of January 1996, the Front Fenders started. And we had 2 practices. You'll see some of the pictures here eventually, but there's a picture there what we took of the Front Fenders where all the Front Fenders met each other. Our publicity, a picture, poster, whatever, was none of the guys even knew each other.
Oh, very interesting. So how did all this come together?
I'm the only person that knew all of them, but I knew, okay, here's a good drummer. I know here's a good bass player. There it is right there. Right, I'm the guy with hair, believe it or not, on the left.
I was going to say, I still have yet to pick out who Joe is on this photo, so let me see if I can figure it out. The guy with hair, they all have hair.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm going to say the one on the left with the elbow up.
Yes.
Oh, score one for the home team.
That's me, and the guy that looks a lot like me right behind me. That's Scott Lisney from Marguerite's, if anybody remembers Scott. Scott came in as our original lead guitar player. He was in there for about a year, and then he got a good job, job that paid money, kind of thing.
What?
And yeah, he left. Can you believe it? Yeah, can you believe it?
Come on.
Next to me is Don Severson. He was the guy with Jake, who's on the other side of the girl there, who's Jennifer. They were the 2 karaoke guys, the 2 guys in the leather jackets.
The 2 crazy guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jennifer Onsted's the one in the middle. She was in there for about a year, and then she left me for one of the fantastic convertibles. And so that ended that in a big hurry. It's funny now, of course, but we all laugh about it. But he was a lot better musician than I was. So, and well, he was, but that doesn't matter, right? No. Anyway, to the right of Jake is a guy named Mike Colby, who had been in a lot of bands, even back with Bobby V. When Bob Dylan was in town, played with Bob Dylan, all those guys like that. He was the bass player, original bass player. And behind him, way in the back, is Mike Samick, who is a drummer that drums with us occasionally. Actually drummed with us last weekend, filled in for Roger on drums because it was Roger's son getting married anyway. But Mike Samick is back there. He's still playing quite a bit. So
nice.
But that picture was taken before that first one was, we had never played, or we all met. That was at a place called the Rockin' 50s Bar, and we all just met at that place.
So this is your first show right here?
No, this is not our first show, but this is back kind of, it was back in the day when everyone was wearing the matching coats. Yeah, we're the Front Fenders, you kind of keep doing all that kind of thing. By this time, I'm on the far left. We've already replaced a few of the members have already changed. Mike Delaney is next to me with the big orange Gretsch guitar. He was in there for a long time. Yeah, and then Jake and Seaver out front. Mike Colby's still on bass. Mike Samick's still on drums. The guy on the far right's kind of interesting on the keyboards. You can't really see him that well. Is Mark Evanson. Unbelievable keyboard player. Just absolutely unbelievable. Probably he played with us, played with Johnny Home, played with Bobby V, and every single one of these guys said that's the best musician we've ever had in the band. He's just absolutely insanely good. But it's kind of funny with Mark because he was in there. I think he was in there for 10 years, which was amazing. Because he didn't hate us, but he hated the business, I think, in a way, because he played so long with these other bands, like with Johnny Home. I asked him, why'd you quit? And he said, well, because I'd be driving past Moorhead where my family lived, back and forth, and I never get to see them. No matter what time of the day it was, I just have to drive. I'd be blocks away from my family, and he couldn't stop. And so that's why he got out.
That much work.
Yeah, and there's me underneath the truck trying to fix something.
Yes, what is this?
That's on the way to Dickinson. It's just like, it was just one of those, I sent that picture as a joke that Roger ran over me, because that's something Roger would do that if he, just not even by accident sometimes. But that was just one of those funny pictures. There's I'll go through all these. This was in Park Rapids. South Dakota. No, Park Rapids, Minnesota. Yep. and that
on
was
the road.
yeah. That's a really fun job.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, we were there. I think we're 2-3 years in a row, and every year they ran out of beer. That was always our goal, was to see if we could get them to run out of beer. And every year they did.
There was an uprising then, people rioting.
Well, it was it was kind of tough. It was hard on the band for sure. Once they ran out, but it's funny because I think that we wanted $200 more the next year, and they wouldn't have us. It's just, you can imagine how funny. I mean, $200. Just we decided to stick to our guns.
You sold out the bars.
Yeah, here's when we used to do Elvis. That's Jake. We did a lot of routines, and one of them was Elvis. This is on top of the Hotel Shoreham, if you can believe that. I can't believe, I mean, as old as that place is, they even let him up there. And this was when Rick owned it, which is even funnier because Rick was terrified of, anything happening but anyway, we got him up there, and he did his Elvis routine from the roof of Hotel Shoreham that night. There were a lot of funny Elvis stories over the years. But that was
so how did that start then? How the whole Elvis thing, you just thought of that'd be a nice gag to do one day?
You just kind of, all those things like that, you just kind of, Jake was the worst Elvis ever, by the way. And he knew that too. It was funny because he knew it was Jake as Elvis. It wasn't good. It wasn't supposed to be good. Some of the things we did with Jake and Sever, we did like the Blues Brothers, which actually was good. I mean, they actually kind of looked like the Blues Brothers. We did it all in costume. We had Ricky Martin. Mike Delaney did Ricky Martin, a really good Ricky Martin. But then we do like things like Tom Jones. We did one time we did Richard Simmons. I don't know why we did rock into the oldies Richard Simmons.
I remember all that though, and it was '96. That was the year then that you guys were probably playing in or out there. But I do remember the Elvis routine though. I mean, out of everything you guys have done, the Elvis routine always stuck out with me.
Yeah, we did that for a long time. But what happens with those is they get old, of course. You can only do them so many times, and I've seen this Elvis. I've seen the Blues Brothers, and you have to keep it moving. And we tried to keep those things moving, but you kind of run out of ideas in a way, I guess. And eventually we did. And we don't do as much of that now. But, I mean, we can still do some of it, but we don't do as much of it.
Did you do it on the 25th?
No.
No, you didn't pull that
No,
off?
we didn't. We didn't really have, COVID and everything, I suppose. We didn't really have a lot of the old members there or anything.
Oh, I suppose.
We had about one old member from the band there. This is standing outside. This picture is just standing outside someplace.
Hanging with Joe.
Yeah. The picture before that, I think that was one of my favorites. That one, yeah. Roger he did something to his ankle, and we call that Puss in Boot.
Oh, I didn't notice the boot.
Yeah. I always like that one, Puss in Boot. He hated that, but yeah. So that was that. That's a picture of me.
Yep. And that was me
touched
cropping
up,
out a picture. Yep.
Touched up, yes.
Oh, that's the other post you.
Yeah,
that's their new poster now. I just cropped him out, so
yeah.
That's our picture of Joe right there.
Yeah.
And that was our front fender photos. We got a whole bunch of pictures of Joe here.
There's a whole bunch I can comment on there, I'm sure, but yeah.
So that's how the front fender started, was basically you brought in a couple of jokesters into your last band, and that kind of just dissolved the last band. Is that what?
Yeah, it dissolved, but everybody from that last band is now in this band basically. So it was it just needed some time to work itself out, and it worked out just fine. It was kind of a crazy idea I had, and I didn't know if it was going to work, but I kind of figured it was going to. I just, like I said, there's the Runaways, the band before the Front Fenders.
Gotcha.
I mean,
so you went from a 4-piece to a 7-piece? Is that how? Okay.
Yep. Yes, we did.
So 2 guitars, bass, and then usually keyboard. Are you a 7-piece today?
Yeah, it's 7. It's still 2 front people. There's Mike and Mike. That was at Teddy's in Wapaton, Halloween.
Teddy's, that closed down.
Yeah. No, that was a fun night, Halloween. This is Rib Fest. That's Bougie, Paul Bougie, our not new front man. He's only been there for half a century, but
the latest.
Yeah, and I don't think that's a middle finger. It could be. It is Bougie. It could be.
No, he's up.
Okay, I don't know.
More in the
Turn my monitors up. No, that would not be us. There's me and Mike back in our sport coat days. That's the Paisley Telecaster I stole from him that night.
Like
and played
such a baby in that.
Neilsville. Yeah, well.
Just the baby face going on
I thought it was
there.
pretty old. I was just getting fat again.
Ah.
Yeah. And then once again, that's That's that era. This
Yeah.
is a
Now,
good one.
what is this? I couldn't
Okay,
figure it out.
no,
Looks like
you
you're holding
gotta-
a chicken
yeah,
above a drummer.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You
Oh,
gotta if you gotta turn it the other way, of course, if it was
Yep.
to be right, it's on its side. But this idea we got, or I heard, I used to work for Dave Hoffman Talent Agency, and Dave was in a band called the Unbelievable Uglies, and they would take a rubber chicken and fill it up with a whipping cream, and then Dave would squeeze the chicken and the whipping cream would go in his mouth. So you can imagine the visual. And I said, we got to try this.
That is
And so here we are.
nasty.
We're at the Red River Valley Fair, and this is the only time I'm going to swear, I think, in this whole thing. But our front man, Jake, stands up in front of the crowd with this chicken in his hand and says, "Who wants to see our drummer eat chicken shit?" And the crowd went crazy. I mean, they just went insane. So Jake goes back there, squeezes the chicken, and I'm just expecting this to go all over the place. It goes, the whole wad of it goes right in his mouth, which was pretty impressive, I thought. But we did a lot of things at the fair we probably shouldn't have done, but it was a lot of fun. Big, huge crowds. That's one of the earlier pictures of the Runaways. It's probably about 1986, 87, electric drums.
Oh, beautiful. It's
Roland Jazz Course amp.
Yeah.
All the hair. Here we are loading our trailer at the Doublewood Inn. We used to play there a lot. That's about a 1991 Baseman reissue in plastic still. I can still remember that, but
I think I had that jacket.
yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. This one.
Yeah.
I was like, this is Rick's bar. And
Oh,
we all-
Runaway Band. Okay, now it all
Yeah.
makes sense. I was going to ask you, why do
We
you
always
have a
get-
picture of Rick's bars?
yeah, we had the Runaways. It was always funny to see what the daily special be, because Runaway Meatloaf was kind of funny, I thought. So we'd always look at Runaway Chicken, Runaway, spaghetti, whatever it always was. But we always thought that was kind of funny to go by each week and see. This was where they put our heads on different bodies for one of our posters. And it
I
was,
remember this poster.
yeah, and this was funny because, my body actually there, aside from being thinner than I am, is pretty close. In the front too, I don't know. But Jake back there has got the big muscle arms. They originally had him in a dress with a purse.
Oh,
And it was really funny. And I'm sorry, Jake just said, "No, guys, you can't do this." And I said, "Yes." You look at it and you laugh so hard, but he said, "You just can't." He was a school principal and everything, and he said, "I can't do this." And
that makes sense.
anyway, I still have a Jake. I still have a. If you're listening, I still have a copy of that poster somewhere. So.
Oh, the politics.
And by the way, this Wayne's camera here adds about 40 pounds, not 10 pounds, like they say.
At least.
Yeah, just say.
I'd
yeah.
even venture to say 60.
I wore black just to look thinner, but this is not quite working here.
We're gonna make camera changes now
Yeah.
after this.
Oh, it's going to be good.
Uh,
No, so 25 years.
Mhm.
What are the biggest shows you've ever played, or maybe the most memorable stuff that you ever done in that? Even that,
no.
you've done a lot of amazing shows already. We can already see that.
Yeah, the Rib Fest things as far as size goes, like Rib Fest, we opened for Three Dog Night, Gin Blossoms, Blue Oyster Cult. Opening for some of those bands, you get in front of some really big crowds, and you get one chance to get a feel for what sometimes at the fair too. We've opened for some bigger acts. You get in front of those big crowds. It's neat. It's memorable. It's
Okay.
not as fun, though.
You have to explain that. Not as fun.
It's not as fun as when you got the crowd right in front of you, like at Hotel Shoreham
Okay.
or something like that. You have 400 people right in front of you, just dancing and having a blast.
So just having the interaction with the crowd's a lot more.
Yeah.
It just makes it more interesting.
Yeah, I think so.
So just having
It's-
them caged out there just doesn't do it for you. Or,
Well, no, it's okay. It's fun. It's still fun.
Okay,
It's
just
it's,
different.
It's more stressful, of course, because you're supposed to be entertaining. I'm supposed to be playing guitar good, or whatever. But if you're just at a bar or something, I don't care. You care, but you don't. You're just kind of being yourself, I guess. So the lake bars are pretty fun. Hotel Shoreham, Cormorant Inn, those things, 611 Pit, all those, they're all a lot of fun. They're outside. It's summer. Outside's good and bad, of course. We all know that. It seems like a great idea until it's 50 degrees or windy or raining. But
I
those,
worked with a guy who just refused to play outside at all. He
Yeah.
just would not do it. He booked
No.
the gig, he wouldn't show up.
no, we do just about anything. I don't know. We've been pretty lucky. The way I look at it, we've been pretty lucky. It seems like we play for almost anything. If somebody gets rained, if we drive somewhere and it starts raining, I don't want to charge them $2,000, $3,000 for nothing.
Yeah.
We just get in and go back and say, book us again. You know,
Well, that's
it's just one of those things. Most bands don't want to hear that, I suppose, but it's what you got to do sometimes. You know,
Well,
it's not. You know, I know it sucks
the
because
right
you gave
thing
up.
to do. Yeah.
But if you gave up your whole week of work or something like that, and you know, or this is all you're making money off of, and now I gave this job up and it's raining and now I'm not getting paid. I understand that, but we don't do that. It's been a lot of, well, let's put it this way. We play, I think next month we play 12 times. In June we have 18 jobs this July.
Nice.
So that's 30 jobs in the next, 2 months, plus the ones we got left in May here, which is great. I don't know how we're getting older, but it's getting harder. To be honest, when COVID hit, we were about to just get into our summer stride, hit all our jobs. And then when it all started to cancel, it was, this isn't the worst thing that's ever happened to us.
It's kind of a relief.
Yeah, well,
I can see that.
After 24 years at the time, it was just, okay, a little break, but I'm glad it's over.
Yeah, no
For
kidding.
us. I mean, I'm glad we're going back to I can't wait to play, and I don't care if we play 5 times a week.
So have you been playing that? Have you ever been playing that much? Because we had a few people in there talking about how they were playing 6 nights a week for like years and all that. And to me, that just still blows my mind. It's like, where do you find all that work out there?
I don't know that you can anymore exactly. You see, when most bands were doing that, when I started in Sweetwater, that original country band, everything was 6 nights. It was 6 nights at the Doublewood, and they'd book us 6 nights a week for 2 weeks in a row. Then we go to Club Dallas. Then we go to the Windbreak. I think there was some times where we probably had 2 or 3 months in a row we played 6-nighters, for 2 or 3 months.
So that's just how they booked back then.
Mm-hmm. That's how they booked back then. And then then that started. Technically, I got into this at the worst possible time to get into playing in a band. 1985 was about the beginning of the end, so to speak, not of live music, but the way it was definitely the beginning of the end, because even in the late 70s, early 80s was probably the busiest time for bands in Fargo-Moorhead.
Yeah,
and the best money.
A lot about things happening then.
Yeah, they actually bands made as much money in 1978 as they did now.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I mean,
too.
It's the honest to God truth. You could actually make a real living at it and have a pretty good one back then. You can still do that, but you can. I mean, I can't complain. But it's not like it was back then. About 1985, everything started to go to 2-3 nights a week, just weekends.
Do you think that was from the advent of like MTV and stuff, or is it just kind of ran its course? People just weren't going out that much like that anymore.
Drinking laws.
Drinking law? Okay.
Yeah, drinking laws were a lot of it. Smoking, can't smoke in there. You can't drink as much. Don't drive home when you're drinking. Not bad things.
No,
but hard on the business though. On the bar business, it was definitely bars were packed.
That does make sense.
Monday through Saturday, they were packed back in the day. There weren't that many slow nights.
Yep.
So that changed a lot. But
the Facebook of the day.
Everything for us kind of went from, a week-long gig to weddings and corporate jobs, which I was ready for. It was a good thing. I don't want to play a 6-nighter anymore. I don't think I would. If somebody called and asked, "Are you gonna do it? Would you do it?" And I said, "Of course we will." But I don't see it happening. So, yeah.
Now those 6-nighters, you just got to put your gear up and just let it sit there for the whole 6 days, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And hope it didn't get stolen, pretty much. But nothing really ever did. Yeah, it was okay. I mean, I was going to college at the time when we started, and I was studying during those. I remember at the Doublewood Inn having a textbook open up next to me on the stage. Of course, we played so much you didn't even think about what you were playing. G, C, D, who cares anyway? So, but I had a biology book open or whatever it was, studying.
Hey.
Yeah, and it's true.
You're getting it done.
But nobody was paying a lot of attention to us, so it wasn't.
And what were you going to school for then?
Mass communications.
Mass communications.
I should have just skipped the studying and just worked on my playing more, but This is the most I've used the mass comm degree right about here.
Oh, you're doing brilliant.
Yeah, sure.
bing.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Typing some into the computer here.
Mhm.
So no lulls in our conversation. As of now, so where do you see the Front Fenders going from here? Are you just going to keep the course? And I think I saw on your website that you're the manager. Is that what it said on there?
Yeah,
or?
Supreme Ruler.
Supreme Ruler?
Yes, that's
oh,
probably
that's what
closer.
we got.
Yeah, I don't know whoever said I was manager.
Okay.
Yeah,
Someone just pointed that out and said, "There's the boss."
I don't know. Yeah, usually people just say, "Okay, I don't want to deal with this. Go talk to Joe." That would be what the manager job is.
Cito has no idea what that's like.
Yeah.
What was it?
Supreme Ruler.
Supreme Ruler.
I don't know.
I'm not calling you that.
Yeah, it's it's kind of weird. I think most bands, and every band wants to have everybody have an equal say. I know this all, but as bands go, that doesn't usually work. You almost have to have somebody that's just kind of pushing it along in a direction, and I guess I'm that guy. But it doesn't mean I get paid anymore. Unless I do more. That's about it. It's okay. But every band needs that. I think every band has that person, and I didn't want to, like, if you ever come out and watch us, I'm in the background as much as I can be. I always was. I hired people that would be the singers, the front men. I kind of wanted to be in the background, making sure the equipment worked, making sure all the business stuff got taken care of.
Gotcha.
And I like playing guitar, don't get me wrong, and I like singing and everything, but I don't really have that. I don't want to say ego, that's not it, but it's just I don't really care. I'm just very happy to be in the background watching the whole thing unfold in front of me and enjoying it. So yeah.
So you see this continuing for quite a few more years?
I
hope so.
Here it is. I just turned 56, and I for something. No, here it is.
He's laying it down now.
No, but by 60, I thought, geez, I got to be done doing this by the time I'm 60, right?
What?
Who knows? Who cares? I don't care. And I think as far as it goes, I mean, Lee Massey, our keyboard player, I think he's turning, and don't quote me on this, but he'll get mad at me. He's at least 71. He's turning this year, if not 72. And he's having the time of his life. I mean, he really is. He loves it. I think he likes it better than any of us, in a way. And so if I'm 70 or 75 and I'm still going, there's some reason to be doing this, I'm adding something to it, good for me. But I don't know. I'll just keep doing it as long as I, can stand it.
As long as I can stand it.
Yeah, no, mostly it's really fun. But there are, it's work too. I mean, after 25 years of it, I mean, there isn't hardly a person in this band that hasn't wanted to kill every member at some point. And I mean that, and we're all the best of friends, but sometimes it gets tiring and old, and
so you get your dysfunctional family going on in there. Yeah, it just happens. But you guys seem to be able to work through it.
No, we always work through it. I mean, we always manage to work through it. I don't think there's hardly, we've had people quit or whatever over the years that just, it wasn't a good fit, and that happens too. You feel bad about those, but it happens. But for the rest of us, we've all been friends for so long, especially that core of us in the Runaways, if you think about it. I mean, it's 25 years in the Front Fenders. It's 35 years with those guys.
So you're finishing each other's sentences by now.
Pretty much. Yeah. Or something like that. Or seeing what's left on the plate that they haven't eaten. I don't know. It's just been it's been a lot of fun, but it does get stressful at times, and yeah, it's like being married, I guess, or whatever. That's what they always say. But hey, the band's lasted a lot longer than any of my marriages.
We won't get into that tonight.
Yeah, well, no, not a lot longer. Okay.
Oh, yeah. This could be a huge session.
Yeah, okay, we won't go there. Yeah.
Oh, so very good. And it's great that you're getting your calendar filled back out again, and you guys are out there doing it, and always having a good time with it. But at this time, we really need to talk about what is actually going on out in the Fargo-Moorhead area and the outer community. So, Cito, what are we doing out there this weekend?
Hey, buddy. How's it going? All right, first thing we got going on here, if I can get the button going on here, is the out-of-town report here at the Original in Minot. We have a Slam Bam. We got the Slam Bam is out there on the 14-15 on Friday, Saturday. And then the Laughing Sun Brewery, one of our favorite places in the Bismarck-Mandan area to go visit. They have the open mics on Tuesdays, and then Mike Swenson and Brian Gray are out there on the 13th on Thursday.
Yep.
So, and then on Friday, the 14th, Sunny Waters is out there. The Elks, is that the Elks Lodge in Bismarck?
That's what it looked like.
Must be. I love the Elks. They got on Saturday, they got Jennifer Lynn and Richard Torrance. And then the Southtown Poorhouse in Grand Forks is yours truly and us will be out there uptown on Friday night. So that's going to be a fun time.
Back in Grand Forks.
And then the downtown report at Dempsey's on Friday night is the Shuttles. The aquarium on Friday night is going to have Brondo, which is jungle bass.
Some jungle and bass.
It's going to be like a DJ thing, I'm thinking. So make sure you bring your diaper for the brown note. Prototype with Corbin and bass perk Saturday the 15th. Theater B has the smallmouth sounds again.
And they finish up this weekend.
They're hot, man. They're booking every week. Edgewood Bluegrass Jam on Sunday. And then Slammers, we got Chris and Gina acoustic duo on the Saturday. And for we got a lot of downtown, don't we?
A lot of stuff going on.
All
It's
right.
really good to see. Everything's opening back up.
Yeah, we got the Goldenwood neighborhood.
So this one looks very interesting. In the Goldenwood neighborhood in West Fargo, it looks like a person, Doug Thompson, has a driveway concert. This is going to be a second annual one. And I found a few things about that. It was Doug Thompson was playing with the Plowboys and I believe a band called Happy Hour. At least I hope it was, unless they're having a happy hour on the driveway.
I like the name Happy Hour.
And that's going to be on Sunday. I think it was noon to 2. And all it basically said was just bring a lawn chair and come and enjoy.
Sweet. And then at the Urban 42, we got Kathy Brecky and the 42nd Jazz Band. Or what should we call them? The stage
band.
The stage band, because, jazz is evil.
Exactly.
VFW Fargo has Twice as Hard. On that, we're going to be there Friday and Saturday. The Icewind Brewery has Quick 56. The Silver Dollar Flying Pig has Eric Ritten on Saturday the 15th. So, still downtown. Fargo Brewing Company has Lucy Lux. Is that a stripper?
With the Bloomsters and Mirage.
I'm just kidding. Bloomsters and Mirage, Saturday the 15th. The Three Lions Pub has Mike Morse out there. Bar 9, Brianna Hebling and Lars, our good friends, are going to be out there on the Friday. Tailgaters, we got Smith, Darren Lovin.
Darren Lovin's back out there. And he's had a real bad stint with COVID. He was in the hospital for a few weeks. So, it's awesome seeing that he's back out
Get
there
out
playing,
there and support. J.C. Chumley's, Mr. Terry E. Mackner is out there on the Thursday night. And then, let's see here. We got the Uptown Report at the Windbreak. We got October Road on Thursday and Friday. Unleashed will be there back at the Windbreak on Saturday. The Tax Center has Prestigio. What is that?
I could not figure out what they were.
It must be, I don't know what that is. Friday. Go check that out.
Dressed very nice.
Check that out if you can. The Shooting Star has Pop Rocks out there on Friday and Saturday. And then the Sanctuary Event Center has an evening with Mary Mack and Tim Harmston. Friday the 14th, and then Line Benders, not the Front Fenders, the Line Benders will be on Saturday the 15th.
A lot of stand-up comedy for you.
And then that's the Uptown Report and Downtown Report from me, Cito, so talk to you later.
So back here with Joe, I forgot to tease this question for you because Joe is just a wee bit of a gearhead, and he used to run a store. Was it old time music or
old school music?
Old school music, and I'm so sad to see that it's not at least physically out there, but it's still in his heart. I know he's still finding these great relics of the past and selling them off to places that need to be. But Joe, if you could get any guitar, any configuration, any color, what would your ultimate guitar be?
Oh boy.
We're going to make him think.
Yeah, this is tough. Just one?
Just one. That's all you get.
Just one. And it's something, okay, this is going to be something I want to play, though. It's not going to be something, I know it, if I wanted something worth the most money, because I tell you what I'd take, but I'd take a 59 Les Paul, but that's, just for the money I'd take that. But if I were going to actually, okay, nothing from somebody famous or anything like that. Probably about a 61 Rickenbacker 330, 370, or 345.
Interesting. So if anyone out there has one, we know someone to be looking or maybe would be interested in there.
Yep.
So I'm assuming you don't have this guitar at the moment.
No, not.
No,
I've had
no.
quite a few Rickenbackers, but not that one particularly at the moment.
61
some-
Rickenbacker 370, you said?
Yeah,
Okay.
it might be a 3. I think they made a 370 back then. 375. I think they did. Yeah, they did. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Old Gretches, old Strats, old Tellys. I mean, any of it.
Yeah, I see you playing
Yeah.
them all the time, though. But
Yeah,
that
no,
would
that's-
be- yeah,
yeah.
interesting. All right, but now we have to get to our segment here because we always have to break something. You know, what's a little juvenile fun if you can't do something like this? So back in the day, parties that I used to have at this house, we always have to get stupid and then throw things off the roof. So this is it's from last week. So if anyone watches last week's podcast where we got cut off right exactly at this point because basically everything crashed. Here is our Off the Roof. Go by Keurig. I think it's like the tease of the coffee makers because basically you have that one great cup of coffee and then it's gone. So you have to go back and make another one. It's a great conception for somebody out there, but not for me. So, Joe, you have anything else you want to plug? Where are you playing next?
A couple private jobs this weekend. Just somebody's driveway on one night and then a wedding on the next. So, I don't
Join you
know.
in the driveway.
It seems like we're kind of getting. It's going to be. The next job we can actually come to is the 4 and 4. We're going to be there on the Saturday, not this coming Saturday, but the following.
And that's the side street, correct?
Yeah, above the old side street.
Above
I think
the old side
I
street.
can't remember the date on it right now. It's the following week, probably on a Friday. Could be a Saturday. I don't know. I haven't looked, but that's the next place. Check us out. Just go to the frontfendersband.com. And the whole schedule will be there.
Excellent. And I got a few more things to plug here. Is that Gina has our video came out on last Friday, and we were promoting that a little bit on here. So I do have the link below if you want to watch that. Also, I got a thing here for a Greenway Takeover Festival up in Grand Forks, and they are looking for bands and musicians and solo singers, songwriters, and all sorts of things. So the greenwaytakeover.com is where you want to go if you want to apply for that. It takes place on September 9th to the 12th in Grand Forks. It's based, I think, off of UND, but it's backed by HB Sound and Happy Harry's. So this might be a fun thing to do. I haven't heard of it myself, but I think we're going to be signing up for it as well. So go ahead and hit that. The link is down below for that as well. And always, if you have things you want to see destroyed on Off the Roof, please let us know. You can find us at uptownbandfargo.com, and we will be seeing you next time. So until next time.